Alright, I think I am streaming now. Just goofing today, really. Just wanted to take kind of a break, and I'm just sort of gonna play drawing a little bit. Oops, I don't know what just happened, but Moho decided to vanish. That's weird. I think I've ever had that happen before. Odd. Okay. Well, it looks like it's trying to be back. Cool. Yeah, so I'm just gonna open up my freehand options here and make sure my smoothing's not so up. I'm gonna come over and bring over my actions and stuff just to get this lined up. I've got my stuff laid out to where you could see my layers, most of my layers here. So I've separated those out, but either way, yeah, if you guys are watching, say hello and all that good stuff. I need to kind of start talking about Fableforge more, I guess, and calling my channel Fableforge, because I think a lot of people don't know that I've changed it over. It's just essentially the same company, but I wanted a kind of a new, fresh face on it, if that makes sense. I didn't really want to associate a lot with older projects unless I'm still working on those. And just kind of wanted to get away from kind of who and what I was before with the Griffin's Egg thing and all that. Red Spectre still kind of like my films and so forth, but I think I'm probably everything will eventually start being released with Fableforge on the name. So I just like the feel. It's a little more fantastical, I guess, is a good way to put it. So I'm going to check here, look at my brushes here, and they keep popping up on my other screen, but I just want something that's a little kind of pencil-like. I don't know. I'm in a very I don't know mode today. It's funny, a brush that looks like a pencil is called ink. I'm not sure how they decide on, what their criteria is for brushes, but I wish they had a search in the brushes here, because it's really hard to tell, what's what. This one's just called 100 brush pack. Okay. Brush 2, brush 4, that's handy. Yeah, it's really hard to tell what's supposed to look like what. Supposed to look like what. When they just number the brushes and don't give you a, I guess it's alright. It doesn't matter, really. So I'm just going to pick something that's kind of chunky or whatever, and that's fine. It's just going to be something to sketch with, really, more than anything, and I guess that works. This is going to be not final line work or anything. I'm just gonna sketch and have a few ideas. So I'm so used to, at this point, drawing in Procreate for a lot of things that I'm gonna try and move my fingers on my screen to get the zoom and stuff when this is not a touch screen. So yeah, I don't know. I have a game I've been threatening to make. Sorry, with a little mouse character in it and stuff, and I don't know. I started the programming mechanics in a particular cool piece of software called HyperPad, but I don't know if I can do everything with it that I really want to do. You probably can. The biggest problem with me for that is that to release it, I have to buy an Apple developer license for like $99 a year, and I don't have a Mac. Also, I'd have to rent a Mac like through the cloud to release it through that, to get the Xcode or whatever into, and all that. So it's a little, it's fine, but it's still kind of, I just want to have everything on the same machine. So I'm thinking about doing it, in like Game Maker, if it's going to be a 2D thing. I could do the 3D thing, but I'm really not well versed in game programming in 3D. Although there's plenty of material out there to get there, but the 2D is a little more where I'm at, and I understand a good amount of it, not a ton, but I'm still using like the D&D, the drag and drop of Game Maker, just because that's my speed at the moment. If I want to do that. Also, I could just be today, I don't know, designing some character for an animation for all I know. That's fine too. So, yeah. I have plenty to work on, but right now I just kind of want to play a little bit, you know. Sometimes it's just good to play and not be working on the things you really should, which I have probably done a little too much of lately. I do have a chat here too. If you guys want to say hello, feel free to comment and do all kinds of shenanigans. Today I could use some. I need some distraction from some stuff. I'm not real thrilled about a couple things in my life, and I'm really trying to sort out, you know, where it's all going. So just using this as a nice distraction for the day. So yeah, I'm thinking about maybe something from the sides. I'm just going to start sort of drawing here to kind of start shutting up and getting to something. Yeah, it's been a interesting, like, it's been an interesting week, to be honest with you, and the morning hasn't helped a whole lot. So medically fine, all that kind of stuff. Financially not, and whatever, it's nobody's problem but mine. Yeah, I'm just trying to look for some new work. I'm trying to look for projects to be on. I've got a couple new friends that are kind of, you know, they're going to be helping my mind a little bit with those situations, trying to get involved with some new projects and do some stuff. But the financial, you know, that's not there until it is on anything, because this is a friend situation, you know, that I'm speaking of there, which is cool. Always welcome, always, you know, happy about that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you know, I need some of the other as well. Romantically wanting to be happy. To be honest with you right now, I'm just not. I'm probably asking too much of anyone in the world, you know, but just kind of, you know, we all go through things like that, I suppose, right? Unless it's just me. I have no idea. You know, so I have a lot of hopes, wants, desires, all kinds of stuff, you know, for the future, and I guess this is kind of how a mouse looks. Open to so many things, you know, things in my life just being better, or new things being in my life that make me feel like things are better, you know what I mean? Yeah, so trying to be of that mindset. This is kind of more of a rat, I suppose, isn't it? Let's see if we can get a bit more mousiness here. Yeah, if you guys are watching, say hey. I do have a chat. I'm just going to throw a yo. I don't know what yo in there. And if anybody happens to see that or wants to comment, please feel free. I'm just guessing on some of my look here, so I guess that's a bit more mousy than I had for sure. Yeah, I don't know what this game really is going to be. I keep seeing him, and the original idea, and I don't want to give too much away because the mechanics are kind of like something I wanted to maybe carry through from the original kind of creation. The programming I was working, but I'll leave that out for the moment. But basically, he's this little mouse that's carrying a lantern through some what do you call it? Subterranean areas, and so that's kind of what I'm kind of feeling right now, just getting a sort of body of this thing sort of kind of there. Just kind of getting rid of a few extra marks here that are obviously not needed and just will cause me issues later if they're still there. I'm going to go over this anyway, but so yeah, I'm probably going to, let's fix his back legs here now. I'm not real happy with how that is sitting. But if you guys are there, say hello. I see we've got a few viewers, which is cool. I do appreciate that. Send me some messages there in the chat, though, if you will. Alrighty, so I'm going to go back to my pencil here and just kind of redraw sort of where I want these legs maybe to be a little more kind of like this, maybe a little more squished up. That might be better or worse. Like I say, you guys want to pipe in and tell me what you think. I really could use the interaction today. I sound like I'm begging for it, but I really could. I keep saying a lot too. Ignore that. It's one of those days. Like I said, I'm not 100% on, but that's all right. I'll survive. So I think that's not bad. I don't know if he needs to be a little thinner in the shoulder area, maybe. I don't want him to look like a muscle bound. I don't want him to look mousel bound. I said it. You know, just a little more kind of a sweeter kind of feel. What did I do there? Okay, let's get rid of that junk there. Something happened with the pencil. Okay, that's not horrible. The ears are a bit big, but I kind of like that. I like mice with bigger ears. I'm assuming, you know, we get some nice little whiskery stuff through here. A little bit of a nose. Overall, I think that's not bad, but I do want to put him in some kind of clothing, which will be, you know, all on our nice little separated layers as well. So with that, I'm going to throw on another layer here. And this first one is going to be just my sketch, you know, the first sketch that just kind of is laying out the shape. We're going to take that one, and I'm going to bring up the dialogue for my opacity and stuff, and we're just going to pull that down here. Something like about 35 or so, and say okay. And here we're gonna basically start working on more of a little more refined sketch. I'm just using the freehand tool and drinking coffee. I've been drinking the caramel macchiato for so long, creamer, that I wanted something different. So I went and got some hazelnut, which I can burn out on hazelnut pretty quick. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's really good if you hadn't had it in a while. It's got a lot of flavor to it. So, but I also really like just like the vanilla. One of my favorites too is like that sugar cookie one. Oh Lord, you got to watch out with that one because it's. I'll drink the whole thing. That's one of those ones that kind of makes you want to drink it right out of the bottle. So the head shape has always been a difficult thing for me for mice, even though I love mice and I love just the general look. I'm going to have to move these eyes, I'm sure. Let me just kind of undo those and figure out a better place for them somewhere, maybe a bit here. I kind of want this to be a bit of a, not really sad, but not so overly bright. We'll see. Maybe I do want it a bit bright because that's going to be, he's going to be the curious mouse, right? So maybe I'll make those lids come way up here originally. they'll be able to close and open for whatever. Like if we do this as a game character, you know, he'll have blinking ability and whatnot. We'll do all the animations in here and then export them out over to Game Maker or something. Let me see. Let me just get my eraser quite a bit smaller. Let's go with a 0.01 maybe, or 0.02. See if it'll be 0.02. It's going to have to be smaller. 0.004. It's a little better. And just going to want to get rid of some of this stuff. That's the more closed part of the eye. All of this will be redrawn anyway, but so just kind of get it placed here. Freehand tool, Sean. Cool. You get the idea. So I'm just going to kind of scratch this in here, and then I'll go back with the eraser and just kind of pull out, you know, a little highlight or something in here to give it the feel. Not bad, yeah. All right, if you guys are watching, say hello. Like I said, begging for some interaction today. Just jonesing for a little of it. So 0.04, let's say here, just to clean up inside the ear a bit. This is still just going to be the sketch though, but I want to kind of make it a little cleaner than some of the other stuff that I did before. I think that works for his head. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of continue on refining the sketch here. This is going to be kind of like arm hair and whatever. Not sure how thick these are going to be just yet. Hands. Then of course we're going to have like our little claw toes. Verada Nick toes. Get it? Claw toes, Verada. Never mind. Not exactly sure how big these are going to be either, so I'm just going to kind of sketch them on like that. It's the idea for the moment, and I'll go in and refine those later, just like the other stuff. And just try and clean up slightly. Looks a little like a monster rat with his hand hanging down like that, but that's alright though, because they kind of look that way. Alright, and then I think the chest could be out a bit more. Maybe something like, you know, I don't know why I made that squiggly, but I think I was thinking hair-wise, like something there. And our leg is going to kind of maybe do this kind of thing. I think this is correct. I'm trying to imagine if the foot goes there, if there's a long foot. We're going to look that up real quick. How about that? So let me see if I can open this without putting my browser on the wrong window. And we're going to go mouse profile. So I just want to get maybe a reference here. I should go with standing mouse profile. Not showing this because you never know. My history might pop up and I'd be ashamed of myself. Just kidding, by the way. Let's see. Standing mouse profile. So he's got his little chunky hip thing. It goes to that. That's fine. It comes out. And then the foot isn't as long as mine is all it is, I think. So there. So it does the bend around and boom and boom and boom. So the foot's a little more here. So I'll just get rid of the other stuff. That is very helpful. Always, man, I suggest you guys always use reference. You know, it's a good thing. Yeah. So I'll just kind of clean that up a little bit and kind of, I'm just trying to judge where my toes and nails and stuff may be. This will all get pretty much, not necessarily redrawn, but it will get adjusted and cleaned up. So, man, I really hate not having that right, or that finger drag, you know. Having to do it with the pin is just, it's all right, but it feels a bit unexpected, or like not intuitive. So something like this, I'm going to go ahead and also erase this sort of back of this. Let those blend for the moment. I'm not sure that's exactly how I want this rat butt to go, but hey, you know, as far as rat butts go, it's acceptable for the moment. And I'm just going to come around like this. Try to parallel line that as much as I can. It's all right. Okay. And then I'm going to go in here and sort of think of the face just slightly. So I know that the noses on the side aren't typically as big as I usually think they are. And I think a lot of this stuff can kind of come from a lot of places here. And as far as the mouth goes, I'm just going to kind of keep that, you know, kind of downturned and underneath for the most part. So I think that is acceptable. I'm going to get rid of that first sketch. I'm going to go look at the ears because I know that isn't right. So I'm just going to go ahead and check out a side view ear. I think mine's a little too round is what I'm looking at here. I want something that's a little more peaked, and maybe, yeah, I'm going to just kind of look at a reference now, because that's what one should do. Maybe a little more, you know, this in the front. The nose could be a bit bigger, I guess, like this. Maybe even stuck out over the top slightly like that. I think that works. He's going to need probably a bit of this kind of almost a muzzly kind of effect here, and then that can go back there. I'm just playing. I'm not exactly sure what this is for, other than maybe things I've said. It's not final artwork or anything like that. I'm just kind of messing with it until it feels right. Let's grab our magnet tool and try to push this ear around a little bit somehow. I'm thinking maybe longer top of the head a little. These are not so round though, for sure. Yeah, in a bit I've got to go to a meeting for the 48-hour film festival. I'm going to be part of a team, and we're going to meet for just kind of a, I don't know, they were calling it a practice run. I don't think it's truly a practice, because, you know, when you don't know what you're doing, it's just more of kind of seeing with people what you kind of expect from them, what they should be doing as far as each individual job, yada yada. I am not running this team though, which is a new thing for me. I'm going to be just involved, and yeah, not real happy with that still. I may bring in a tracing image and try to trace that side view, which is something I wasn't wanting to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm just going to save an image here, and we're going to put this just in a the random placement there, and then this way I can keep my chat up. Hey, what's up, Greg? And I'm going to bring in this as a another layer. So import my image, and let me just move this over here and go find my stuff. Let's just view these by large icons or extras so I can see what I'm doing. I'll use this guy right here. Now I'll bring it in as another layer. It actually looks pretty close, which is interesting. I'm going to come in here and turn down his opacity quite a bit and try to get the size. I think my proportions are off mostly. Let's just pull this down to about 40%. Say okay. And try to get him somewhat positioned similar. It's not bad. I'm actually kind of surprised that I got it as close as I did just out of my head. It's not bad. I think the head of mine is a little too small. So we'll go back in here to the layer 2, and I'm just going to grab a lot of these points here and try to size these up a bit. I'm going to rotate them like this other one just so I can get that head shape the same, which it's pretty darn close. I'm kind of surprised that I got it that close just playing. Now the ears, seeing are in the wrong spot, so we'll fix that, and then I can rotate the head back around, I guess, in a bit. So good old magnet tool. I know that's Greg's favorite. Let's just get that guy. It helps in you know, shoving the stuff around, that's for sure. If you have a lot of points, obviously it's a really good thing to have. I'm going to slim his body down just a bit too, kind of like that, by just pushing some of his back points a little farther in. I don't want to make this an exact of it necessarily, but you know, if it winds up looking like that, because a mouse is a mouse, a rat is a rat kind of thing, then I guess it's okay. No skin or no fur off my nose, I think they say in Ratville, whatever that is. All right, so there, and then let's start just kind of fattening up this part a little bit, shoving some of this back. I'm really, when I'm on this monitor, I really go and start having withdrawals from the iPad, because I want to use my fingers for all the adjusting and stuff. It's kind of funny, but you know, alas, I think one would say, I cannot. I don't know. I never wanted a touch screen for my display, you know, graphics display, but since I've drawn so much on the iPad, it's like almost feels foreign to not have that now. All right, this little guy can just click up in there somewhere. And come on, don't do that. Things are wanting to move on their own now, which is fun. I'm just trying to copy right over this ear, because the ears, oh, that's the wrong ear. The ears are obviously pretty particular to these dudes, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Do you have a channel with content? I am not sure. If you do, just go ahead and either let me know and or post the link there to your channel if it's a channel, or if you're just you know, a happy person that's going around looking at other people's stuff. A learner or whatnot. Yeah, let me see if I can get rid of all that. That's just sketchiness. So yeah, and today, I mean, I'm not necessarily teaching so much as I'm just working on a character. I drew this out to start with, and you know, now I'm kind of wanting to adjust it to kind of fit the mouse that is on screen. Yeah, it's not bad. I had it real close, so real close. But I want it to be correct as well, and making sure that I'm not too far off. I think that's more than enough, honestly, for the sketch, and then I can go ahead and do the good stuff on top of that. So we'll just click into here. I'm going to turn that one off just to kind of look. I think that'll work. Might want to make this is more of a rat arm. I'm realizing now too. I've owned probably 51 rats in my time. So learn it, cool, very cool. Yeah, well, learn away. If you pick up stuff from this, that's great. I'm happy. Right now, I'm just kind of sketching something out, which a lot of people don't do in Moho. They usually bring things in, or they use the add points tool. I kind of sketch, you know, in Procreate, and then I'll bring it in here, and I'll maybe do a trace over with the add points tool just to be more precise. But oftentimes, I don't just draw straight in here. I do like it though. I mean, I think I'm so used to the iPad and Procreate that when I don't have my, like I was explaining earlier, my fingers, to adjust the screen and whatnot, zoom and whatever. That when I don't have that, it feels just almost foreign to me, I guess. Pull off a couple of these points here. And I might even magnet this guy up a little higher. So I'm just going to pull into here and just sort of, I don't want to destroy the hand though is the other thing. So I will probably do this. So I'm not just mushing that around too much. And then I will reposition something maybe like so. Grab some of these arm bits. I don't want to move it completely like the drawing because the photo, I mean, because the photo is actually of the other arm, not this particular one. So I'm trying to be a little careful. What is your favorite part of Moho, or what are you learning or want to learn? That would be probably a good question to ask. I'm looking for kind of like what do people want me to focus on when I do actual tutorials. Because I get some suggestions, and then I figure I'll blow all those out in one video, and then I'm like, okay, now what? Because I would like to keep making the Moho content, often. I think it seems to be, well received. So I'm trying to get rid of a few of these extra points here that are just clouding up the whole thing, and then I can. Just a little bit of this curvature here. Where are we at? Let me reset that one. Boom. All right. And yeah, so that's why I ask. All right. So all of this will be straightened out. This is bothering me though. So I'm going to maybe go back to the freehand here and just sort of remind myself this is more of a straight area. This is more of an angle. And all. And come in here and sort of erase some of this back to where it makes some sense. Because I have a meeting later on, I'm just trying to check and see if when I'm going to be probably picked up for it. Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I think this is all right for yeah, no, to me on a tablet, touchscreen is really necessary. Yeah, I did a couple of, well, actually I did like 4 videos recently, and 2 were on this sort of generic kind of character that I plan on building more to kind of add to that series to show people you can take like a stick figure and essentially come out with a fully blown character with all kinds of, abilities. And something else I'm trying to do also is to come up with some videos on not doing fully red characters, and you might do some frame by frame with it. You might do some rigging with that, but I like to animate kind of like shot by shot. I wind up making a lot of fully rigged characters, but then realizing I don't use them all the way through the process, because when you have a shot that's just somebody kind of lifting their head and turning, or even if they look from the back and you don't have a back view or something, there's no reason to use some fully rigged character or make a new fully rigged character or even a full rig just for a back view for, one shot. If you do it shot by shot, you can get through it a lot faster. I've got an animation I'm working on right now where I haven't shown a lot of it, but the shots are all done per shot. Every rig, every whatever is being done per shot, because all of it is kind of a watercolor style. So yeah, there's only so much and so many ways and stuff that I can do something like that. So I'm going to trace over a little bit of this just to make sure these are right. But I do typically like to draw straight out of my head for a lot of this stuff. But this, you know, for something like I'm doing right now, I want to make sure that this is a correct rat or mouse, not a rat. Sorry, dude. Sorry, Mr. Mouse. And I just want to make sure that it's pretty correct overall. The feet, obviously I blew that on this foot. I was just kind of doing my thing, but I'm going to cut off that. And now come back and draw, or trace, I should honestly say, this in here and kind of get something a little more correct. I know there's supposed to be 4 on that, but I did get it close though. I'm pretty proud of myself that I got that close. And then of course this butt situation needs some work. So let's go ahead and address the rat in the room. I'm going to move all of this away for the moment. If it will let me, I'll have to obviously disconnect or move a couple of points just to make sure these are together and intact. Yeah, it's funny that I'm going to do this 48-hour film meeting because I'm not a 48-hour film, you know, fan of creating them that much anymore. I've done plenty of them to the point that where I just kind of burnt out on it a bit. Some good experiences and enough bad where it's like, I don't think I will be doing that again. Just because how the judging goes. You can't do it with the expectation you're going to win. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But if I just come in, and which is the way I'm doing it because I want to help out a friend, a couple of friends, and then hopefully I'll have a good time. You know, that kind of thing. We are going to be working together on some film stuff, this particular friend, so helping him with his 48 is a good kind of testing ground for the way we would work together and, you know, all that. I mean, who knows? We might hate each other by the end of it and not want to work together, but I don't see that happening. He's a dude I knew for a while before. We just didn't get a chance to work together. I wound up doing his makeup on a large film one time, though. He was doing some background work, and he came into my trailer because they wanted him to be featured, and so I wound up doing some wounds and stuff on him. So for that, and that's kind of how we met, or I think we met before that, but anyway, it was right around the same time. Importing meshes or images and rigging them with mesh. Yes, I have. Very interested in seeing more about using raster images. Oh, that is a great idea. I think exactly that will be my next tutorial, you know, actual edited and specific tutorial. Yeah, I've done some of that. I did a lot. There was a woman that I did some music videos for her, animated music videos, and lots of animation that way for background stuff was really good. I'll probably show some of that to get it going. I might show how to do it with character stuff. It's a little more complex with characters because they do have limitations, but they don't really have to have as many as you might think, you know. But yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. That's a good one. You know, I'm high-fiving you from across the country or the world. Who knows? I'm not sure where you live, so. Okay, so let's say that is pretty much essentially the rat. He's probably too skinny in the belly, obviously. So now we're going to make this pretty much like the... I didn't want to trace it, but I'm pretty much making it exactly like the image. So, oh well, right? We'll do what we got to do. I might even shorten this hand up just slightly. Okay, so he's very real now. I kind of wanted to go with the anthropomorphic, which I completely did away with. We'll see what I can adjust from here out, though, when I make him. So let's just go back to this guy here and get a look. I'm going to turn off the sketch. So I mean, that's definitely more correct. Now, do I want to keep him that way, or do I want to make him more anthropomorphic? Let me shrink this down and move it over a bit. And now I think I'm going to draw something that is a mouse that is not 100% realistic, or at least in more of an anthropomorphic proportions, which I believe that was my intention when I started this. But, you know, let's see. So I'm just trying to imagine him in a bit of a pose. This is totally from the side. I did that so I could rig it from the side, since if he was in a game, he would be viewed mostly from the side. I'd probably get a turnaround the front and a, you know, that would be more of a mirror image if it was front to back. But I also, depending upon how smooth it needed to be, would make some turnarounds in Moho, you know, for that. Using SmartBones dials, you know, and get a full fluid turn, and then break that up in the export for games if I was going to do that. So in the game, he would just look very, very smooth when he moved or turned, right? Let me see. So something more, and I don't mean cartoony per se, but, you know, if I was to do something... I'm going to do this a little bit more from the front too, so I can see sort of both the arms. These would come more from the shoulder than here, maybe. I don't know. Let's try to keep it kind of similar. Just going to put some arms and shoulder-ish areas. I'm just going to kind of trace, you know, the same, kind of like a turnaround, you know, would be. Get that same kind of, it looks pretty close. And then top of the head, maybe through here. So something, you know, the mouth could be somewhere along here. I'm just guessing right now, so forgive me if it's crappy at the start, obviously. Let's go with a little more rounded on these guys, maybe from this angle. And you get the idea. And then legs are going to be coming out here. But if I were to maybe be a little bit more anthropomorphized, we'll put the feet maybe like about here, and get our little kind of chunky legs sort of happening like that. And maybe, because he's like a hero, you know what I mean? He's got to stand in a heroic pose of some kind, right? Maybe something a little more that way. Who knows? Let me know if you think and that it's working. If it looks like garbage or not, you know. I'm pretty confident it looks all right at the moment. I just lost the use of my pin, though, for some reason. There we go. There I go, looking for the double tap to undo. And the nose is going to be kind of high here. Yeah. I want to keep him very, very realistic, kind of, you know, facially and stuff, but I also want to make sure that that he doesn't feel too overly realistic, I guess, just so he can still be in a game or an animation or something. I don't know. Like I said, I'll know when I know, pretty much. Right now he looks like a sad chihuahua, I think, but or a bat that's ready to take off. Sad Chihuahua. It's a good band name, you know. Is it, though? Why am I having such a hard time drawing it on this spot of my... I don't know if it's my monitor. I don't know if it's the refresh on my tool here in the program. Get this a little bigger. When I'm broadcasting, you know, doing a live stream, stuff tends to bog here and there. It's a good machine, but if it's going to do it, that's when, as we all know, if you've ever done a live stream. All right, yeah, it's leaving holes in where I'm drawing, and I'm not sure exactly why. Okay, so that's all right. I'm going to make him now maybe holding a sword up or something. So I'm going to take this same drawing and maybe kind of holding up some situation here. Maybe this will be higher actually. So something like this. You get used to drawing in-betweens while looking at onion skinning. You start to be able to draw through your own drawings relatively easy. It's still horribly confusing for me though sometimes. It doesn't matter what colors my onion skin is. I still wind up going, wait, what was I doing? Yeah, I'm getting some kind of graphical errors happening here. It's not refreshing properly, so hopefully we won't crash or something, but I think it's because I'm sketching a lot on the same layer, and so it's putting a lot of points on this same layer. So I might want to jump to another layer for this here shortly. That's probably what it is. It's like, bro, you're putting way too much through here. All right, so something, you know, like this would be more the realistic-ish kind of proportions of him, which are pretty odd. It'd be like picking up a little mouse and stretching him out, you know. Yeah, I know, right? The chihuahua. I think it's just the angle of the face more than anything, you know. The eyes are too big, etc. Yes, it's a little yippy monster. I do love chihuahuas, though. I know a lot of people dislike them, but 0.04, is that good? Let's go with a 0.005 or something. Yeah, I had a little girl chihuahua that when I moved, I had to leave her with my ex. It was very upsetting because she kind of convinced me that where I was moving, you know, it was going to be a problem, and then, you know, she'd miss her sister and all this stuff, and it wasn't a good breakup, and I just listened, like, you know, like some often do. I shouldn't have, because I did miss that doggy. Okay, so I think that's okay. I'm going to add another layer here, and I'm going to do like some clothing on this layer just as an idea. You know, I don't exactly know where all of this may wind up, but I'm going to throw a little sword here. I don't think this is a super brave character. There was a character that I did create that this is kind of based on. And it's for an animated movie that I will eventually do. I do have John Howe attached to the project, or did. It's been a minute, so yeah, of Lord of the Rings, John Howe. He did some concept design for me. I got so lucky to naturally become friends with him. He's a great guy. But it's been a minute with all the things been going on with me. As to my regular contact's not been what it should be. Okay, so I'm gonna make this hand here coming out. I'm gonna get rid of this other bit that'll be nothing but confusing, and I'm still. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer there. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this just to clean things up a bit if I can. And then I'm going to have to combine those two layers, I guess, because I kind of screwed that up. But I'm just going to go ahead and merge these. So to do that, I need to go, and I might as well cut this guy apart from there. I'm going to grab this piece and not the sword. I'm going to take this and cut that now. And then I'm going to go back to that original layer and I'm going to paste it in there. Cool. I'm going to get rid of all these lines that go across just to clean things up again. No reason for them to be there now that I've got that sort of kind of situated. I'll just get rid of those extra points we don't need. And then I'm going to grab everything of the mouse here and cut it off that layer and put it on its own, just to kind of minimize the, I believe the processing is a lot harder when you have more points on a single layer. So I'm going to just paste this in. I don't know if that's a true fact, but it makes sense. And now, obviously, he is the wrong size, which I'm not sure why that changed sizes, but it's all right. I'm going to put him over the other guy just to get my size pretty correct, and I'm going to move my point here to at the feet. And then now when I size this, obviously it will size it accordingly from the right place, and hopefully close enough and good enough for government work, as we used to say. All right, something like that, close enough. And now let me grab this by here. He'll look somewhat correct. So this is my sword layer here. I'm just going to grab it and the other, sort of pull, oops, and pull those down. I'm going to grab the layers by the layers. Grab them by the layers. And we'll get this kind of better, somewhere in the same vicinity that's supposed to be. This is going to be, let me just find these. This is going to be the mouse. Just going to call this mouse. And this will be sword for now. All of this gets redrawn whenever it needs to. I'm going to put mouse side. Don't know if you learn anything or if I'm helping anyone here, but let me know. All right, so we have our mouse front, mouse side. This is in obviously a different position, but it's just really giving me an idea of what he is supposed to look like. I'm going to then, above the mouse side, create another layer. And I'm just going to call this clothes for now. And that way it doesn't, have to go on top of all those other points. And I got to decide, what is it I want. I don't know if he needs pants. He's a mouse. It's cute, but also, does he really need them? If he's got a shirt, it should be like something tucked into a belt. So I'm going to assume right off the bat a belt is probably a good thing to have here. Got to make sure it stays though above his thighs there, or his knees, or whatever this bump is called in Ratland. So let's just go ahead. I believe this is the knee, and then this would be the heel, and obviously the foot. So it's the knee. And we're going to put this around like so. I'm going to stick that out just a little bit. I'm just sketching it for now to kind of make sure of where this goes. He'll have some kind of a buckle from the side here. It would be cool if he had either a shirt and or armor. Maybe some type of doublet, would be cool. Sleeveless, probably, just because it's going to give us a lot more room to move arms around. It's going to be a bit weird, just because of where stuff's going to be sitting on him, and neck-wise. Being a doublet, I wonder if you should have any kind of a frilly collar, or if that should just be like a standard sort of like a Nero jacket. Looks like that stand-up collar. I'll start with that. So I have a little bit of that going on, and then we can sort of give this a little blousing, maybe there. That's a word. This can be more of the collar. It can even be higher up now that I think about it. It might be helpful if it is. And this is one reason why I want to put this on separate layers like I'm doing, because now I can grab these just like on the iPad and sort of move that around. Sort of get these back to where they go. It's just a sketch right now, so I'm not horribly worried about exact placement of anything. I'm just trying to, get it sort of there. Did some karaoke last night. That was enjoyable with some people over. Don't do that a lot anymore, just because there aren't a lot of people I have over at this point. But so these may have some type of, you know, edging, maybe a stitched over, you know, kind of stuff, a little more like so. For the arms, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of medieval. This is kind of like cartoon medieval in a way. I did think about having the shirt underneath, you know, here as well, to where, you know, you have the little cuffs even from a shirt with blousy sleeves. You know, like a little fencer works. I think that's okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Deciding though where what goes is the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of give this belt a little bit of a shading so I know that that's what it is. I would have to go through and sort of hide parts of the body for that to make a lot more sense. I like the idea of him holding a lantern though. So like above my little... Oh, and I was supposed to paste my mouse side. I was supposed to paste some points back on here. I don't know if I still can. No, I can't. Crap. So I'll have to redraw this other arm, and that's totally fine. And it's supposed to be this mouse, not the other. Let's see if I paste... Oops, I'm sorry. Nope, did that wrong. Okay, cool. Let me just go back to the mouse, back to my... And then now I can sort of give this arm... You know, he'll be holding like a little lantern here. Little adventuring mouse, you know. He doesn't need the sword. That was just me throwing it in because of the idea of that film I had done, or was writing and about to be doing. It's still somewhat in development, of course, majorly in the earlier stages, and we'll see where that goes. But I think it's a cute idea. You know, what do you guys think? I can see a little guy, even if it's just, you know, to not that I need to make it non-violent, but I think there's a whole lot of shooter stuff and, you know, all that, what they call what, shmups now, shoot 'em ups. And this would be a little more of a adventuring and discovery and puzzle solving would be cool, I think, for it, because the mouse, he just doesn't look like he wants to be dangerous. You know, he looks more like, ooh, is there food? Or, you know, I just want to find out what's going on. He's got a sense of wonder, but he doesn't necessarily want to be in battle or anything. You know, he'd probably rather not. I think this belt's a bit big for him also. So let's go ahead and cut that back. Just pull that and see, that's the beauty, like I said too, of putting this on a separate layer. Close. You can just come in here and go zoop, and everything is still there except the close. All right, so I think if this was here, but it had a little more of a rope or smaller belt, you know, look, I think it would be better. I'm just gonna kind of give this maybe some danglies and pull the shirt sort of bloused over it still. Yeah, it's not bad. Cool. You know, our little lantern can be of whatever design. Probably something with more angled kind of sides to it, like a birdhouse, but I think it's kind of cool. With a little, maybe the door can do that as well. Candle inside of it kind of thing, you know. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out as it happens. I notice in Moho, when using the freehand tool, that sometimes there's a tendency for it to stop not drawing on a certain part of the image. That's not my screen for sure, but it seems like sometimes it just skips places, but not just skipping, like it'll even act like, I'm not going to draw on this part of the drawing until maybe you click off the layer and click back on again. I don't know what that might be. Might, like I said, be too many points on one layer or something like that. It might get a little weird for all I know. We're gonna 0.005 now. Yeah, so but I'm just kind of blowing some time and thinking, and you know, I needed a kind of a break from the normal grind today. I got lots of stuff I'm a little behind on, and I know for anybody who knows, but I'll get on it, I promise. It's like right here, it's being weird about letting me draw lightly, which I really hate. And then I'll wind up pressing hard to counter that, and it will wind up drawing things I don't want it to, you know, which was really a bummer. But anyway, something along those lines we will be doing with him. Get my, maybe this moved up just not that much, but like 0.05, and just kind of cleaning up some of this business on the mouse side, or mouse, sorry. Before I can do any clothing over on this dude, I just want it to be kind of clean, not horribly clean, but you know, enough. You get the idea. So yeah, that's it. That's me, and I hope you guys like what I've done. I'll be back with more later. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Chris, once again. I think I'm out though. Take it easy, guys.